अरहंत सिद्ध सुर उपाध्याय साधु सर्व अर्थ के प्रकाशी मांगलिक उपकारी है। तीन को स्वरूप जानी रागते भई जो भक्ति काये को नमाए स्तुति को उच्चारी है। धन्य धन्य तुम्ही से काज सब आज भयो कर चोरी बारंबार वंदना हमारी है। मंगल कल्याण सुख ऐसो हम चाहते हो मेरी ऐसी दशा जैसी तुम धारी है। हो मेरी ऐसी दशा जैसी तुम धारी है। So today we will be starting with Samadhi Maran या Sallekna. This book has been written by Dr. Hukamchandji Bharil. Okay. So what do you mean by Samadhi Maran? Okay. So Maran is death. Now what is Samadhi? So Samadhi, we know this word very well, but in some other form, So what is this Samadhi? Samadhi is absorption in the self. Samadhi is spiritual composure. Samadhi is equanimity. Samadhi is passionlessness. Samadhi is dispassionate. Samadhi is detachment. Samadhi is balance. Samadhi means no reaction. Whatever is reflecting on your knowledge screen, you are absorbing it and you are not reacting it. Neither you are manifesting attachment nor you are manifesting aversion. That means equanimity, vitragata, samta, swarupacharan charitra, shuddhopyog. Okay, all these terms means samadhi. Samadhi is simple words, it's a Hindi word. It means samta. Okay, so when you are in an equanimous state, that is called samadhi. And maran means death. So death in equanimity is called samadhi maran or sallekna. It is also called sallekna. So both means the same. Whether sometimes we call it as samadhi maran and sometimes we call it as samadhi sallekna. It means the same. So now you know what is samadhi. Now you know what is samadhi maran. Okay. So now we move ahead, and this book you have downloaded. You have taken a printout? Yes? You are on mute. You are on mute.
Yes, Di.
Oh, good. Who else has taken a printout?
Me, sir.
Okay, very good. And then Chaitanya Prakashji, I don't know. Darshitji, you only refer through tab or...
Sorry, I haven't taken a printout.
you don't take,
and today
right?
I've got, yeah.
You usually see from the tab or laptop only.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have whatever you are comfortable, you do. But if you take a printout, you can write extra notes, meanings, what is need to be done in such situations. So anything that you want to highlight, you can put it down. Also, people do that in even tab also. They know the system. But for me, I always take a printout. Okay. So we are going to learn this, and I'm going to share the screen so that, yes, this is here. Yes. You could see on the screen, right?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, so let me do it one page, single page. Continuous scroll. Okay. Yeah, now it is fine. So, Samadhi Maran or Sallekna. This is a very good topic. Which exposition we are discussing now? Can anyone guess? Yeah, Subhaji.
Charnan Yog.
Very good. Charnan Yoga. Absolutely correct. Okay. So this is the topic that we are discussing now is from Charnan Yoga. What should be the best practice as a householder, layperson, or as a monk, right? What are the good practices that you need to observe at this point of your spiritual stage? Okay. So this is a Charnan Yoga Granth, and here this is very important because once you realize yourself, you manifest right belief, Samyak Darshan, then the next step would be to get into restraint, Sanyam, right? And once you get into right belief, that is Samyak Darshan, then you get into Sanyam, then you get into sadhana, practice, and then comes the samadhi. Okay. So the one who lives his life with right belief and with restraint and with sadhana, that is practice, okay, his death automatically becomes one of equanimity. So when he is at the deathbed or uh, when he's going to leave this body, at that point of time, he has renounced all kinds of passions, and he also peacefully renounced the body also. Okay. And then he carries whatever has been achieved in this life in terms of decision making, in terms of religion that he has manifested. He carries that forward to the next birth. Okay. So if you want to carry what you have learned here in the next birth, you should practice this Samadhi Maran. Okay. I always get one thought a day about Samadhi, how my death would be. Then you would say that soul does not die, right? So when I say soul does not die, which exposition is this one? Yeah, Subhaji.
Dravyan Yog.
Charnan Yog.
Right. Dravyan Yoga, right. So it's eternal, that is Dravyan Yoga. But here we are discussing Charnan Yoga. So here we would say that death in equanimity, meditative death, that also means the same thing, Samadhi Maran. Okay. So the next object, once you have manifested right belief, restraint, and sadhana in your life, obvious the result would be that you will have a very peaceful death in equanimity. Okay. And that is the success of your spiritual journey. And that is the time that you carry forward whatever you have learned in the next birth. So for an enlightened soul, this kind of death is a festival, Mrityu Mahotsav. Okay? Because already we have lived this life, and now this body, all the organs are not properly functioning, in the old age. That naturally happens. So now the body which has been worn out and whose parts are not performing perfectly, right? So this body will, before the body leaves us, we are going to leave this body. We are going to leave this body means at the belief level, we believe ourselves to be a soul, and this body is entirely different from me. It's a different entity. It's a matter substance. I am the soul substance. So this kind of discriminative knowledge, and along with this discriminative knowledge, the self-absorption, okay, that is called Samadhi Maran. So in this state, if you die, and of course, those seekers who have done this kind of practice, okay, his death always becomes like this only. They die peacefully. Then don't remember what will happen to my wife, what will happen to my children, what will happen to my house, what will happen to my wealth, what have I done? Nothing, no thoughts coming to his mind at that point of time. He's just concentrating on the self. And that is the true death in equanimity, peaceful death, meditative death. And as a seeker, once you cross the age of 50, okay, this kind of thoughts is always going at the back of your mind. And we purposely also, intentionally also try to make this happen, So I'm now 58 years old. So I always get every day this kind of thought that uh, I want to die peacefully, right? So this is something that you have to practice, and then uh, things will happen, unfold automatically. Okay. So this is a very important topic. While I was studying this, correcting that English translation, at that time I was simultaneously studying also. And I realized that this is a very, very interesting topic. You know, the sensual pleasures that we get hooked up to, all this, if you understand this, then you will realize that we have very limited time in this life. Whatever time we have already crossed, that is not going to be that much time going into the future. Okay. Supposing we pick up an average age nowadays, maybe around 75 to 80. And that also, we don't know we will be in good health or not. Right. So ideally, it is 65, 70. So now, supposing I'm already 58. So I'm into the last phase of my life. Right. So at realizing all these things makes you more, I would say, alert, more aware about your spiritual journey. Okay. So all those distractions happening every now and then, you are able to overcome them with your spiritual maturity. Okay. So this develops your spiritual maturity in a deep way. Right. So those who are above 50, they should think on these lines. And those who have not crossed 50, at least they can have an idea what could be life. And nowadays, nobody's age is certain. Nobody knows how much we are going to live in this life, right? So it is always good to be prepared for this kind of equanimity death. Okay. So this is, you can call an extension of the sadhana. Samadhi maran is nothing but an extension of the sadhana that you are practicing day in and day out in your spiritual journey. Okay. So it is just an extension of the practice, the exercise that you are doing all the time. Okay. So hope everyone have this kind of peaceful death, okay, and carry forward the teachings that we have acquired here and into our next life, because the soul does not die, but the one who dies in such a manner, they carry forward all their preachings and teachings that they have acquired in this life, and then in the next life the spiritual journey continues. Okay. And maybe in another 2, 3, 4 2, 3, 4 births, you will get liberated. That is our journey. Okay. So be happy always be in a happy mode. So again, the meaning of samadhi, we should include the word happiness always. Happiness always and happiness in all ways. Right. So that is what samadhi means. So I hope you are clear with the introduction. And if you are clear, we will move on to reading the text. It's a kind of essay. There are around 51 pages in this. And I could have summarized in one class or two class, but I don't want to do that way. We have enough time in this semester because the syllabus in this semester is comparatively short. So I would like to read each and every line of this essay and understand this in properly. And while we understand this Samadhi Maran chapter, at the same time, we will also develop and develop a strategy and how we want to go about our Samadhi Maran. Okay. So basically, it's a practice. And as truly said by Subhaji, this is Charnan Yoga. Okay. So the depiction will be in that manner only. Darshit, do you have any questions going through the introduction? Yeah.
So Darshit ji is not here today.
He was here. I just now. Okay. Maybe. So, Rajesh, you are good?
Yes, sir. Good.
Yes. So, let's begin our own journey, Samadhi Maran, right? So, we should read it like that. So, we begin with Priyanka. You start studying.
Yes, sir. Sir, from mental afflictions,
Yeah.
Samadhi Maran or Salekna. Mental afflictions are called Adhi. Physical ailments are called Vyadhi. And external disturbances arising from worldly associations are termed Upadhi. To merge into the pure nature of the soul, free from all three, Adi, Vyadhi, and Upadhi, is called Samadhi, that is absorption or tranquility. Adi, Vyadhi, and Upadhi are all forms of discord. They do not contain joy or peace. They are filled with restlessness and agitation. In contrast, the nature of the Supreme Soul, Bhagwan Atma, is devoid of restlessness and agitation. Therefore, to become absorbed in one's true nature, which is Samadhi, is Dharma, the true religion of the self. That is called Atma Dharma. To leave the present embodiment and enter the next is called death. The simultaneous dissociation from all associations of the present embodiment is what is termed death. Although this death is essentially just the dissociation from worn out bodily associations, due to the illusion of identity, that is ekatva buddhi, the sense of ownership, that is mamatva buddhi, and attachment, even the mere thought of parting from the body and its associations causes this ignorant soul to become agitated and disturbed. The wise ones who truly understand the nature of reality regard themselves as entirely distinct from all associations, such as the body and its attachments. Therefore, they do not experience sorrow at the time of separation from these associations. Even if, due to the rise of conduct deluding karma, that is charitra moha, a little sorrow does arise, it is merely an infinitesimal fraction compared to the sorrow experienced by the ignorant. The enlightened who always remain in a state of equanimity are natural knowers and observers of all such associations, and from the perspective of faith, that is Shraddha, they dwell perpetually in Samadhi, that is absorption in the self.
Continue.
Whether it is the transformation, parinaman, of the self or of others, maintaining equanimity toward all the transformations in the world is called samadhi, that is spiritual composure. To remain free from feelings of liking or disliking in all transformations of the self and others is samadhi. To think this should happen and this should not happen, such desire is in a way a form of craving or longing, that is nidhan. Nidhan is like a thorn. It is painful meditation, that is ar- artha
Artha,
dhyan.
Artha Dhyan.
If such craving exists, how can samadhi be present? When death is
Stop,
accompanied
stop.
by some.
So,
Okay.
So we studied this about painful meditation just now in Tattva Sutra. 4 kinds of meditation: painful meditation, then cruel meditation, right? Artha Dhyan, Raudra Dhyan. And then righteous meditation, Dharma Dhyan. And the last one was Sukla Dhyan, supreme meditation. Okay. So this painful meditation, Nidan is like a thorn, Shalya, Nidan Shalya. Nidan is nothing but it means desire, okay? A kind of desire, a kind of craving, a kind of longing, okay? So when you indulge in such activity, it is called Artha Dhyan, painful meditation. If such craving exists, how can Samadhi be present? So when you have such cravings, you cannot die peacefully, right? Because those desires are still remaining. So to practice this Samadhi Maran, peaceful death, you need to get rid of desire. How do you get rid of this desire? By taking shelter in the soul. The desire doesn't crop up. That is called getting rid of desire. Okay. So every now and then you have to connect to yourself. This is the practice that you need to do day in and day out. And when you are doing such kind of practice, then automatically when the death comes, you pick up. So those who are below 50, they should look to doing samadhi of their parents, elders, uncle, aunt, grandfather, whoever it is, right? So you can very well practice this. At certain age, maybe around 75, 80, these seniors also become like kids. So the joy that you enjoy, while playing with kids, small toddlers and all, these senior citizens also become just like that. So it's a very wonderful experience. I will relate that both my parents, my father died at the age of 87 and my mother at the age of 88. And both of them died peacefully in our house only. My father insisted on going to the hospital, so we took him to the hospital. But when the doctor says that it's multi-organ failure, then we took a discharge against the wish of the doctor at our risk, and I have to sign a form over there. And we took him home, and he passed the last 4 or 5 days just understanding the principles, and till last day he was absolutely aware, receptive, reacting, and similar was the case. My mother said, I don't want to go hospital. So we never took her to hospital. Everything was arranged at home and she also died a peaceful death. And in both the cases, I realized, although I got into the religion around at the age of, say, 30, yeah, 30, 31, right? Before that, I was not into religion at all. But my parents, they were also not connected to the religion, but they got at 65. Because I got into this, so I also make sure that they also understand this. Okay, so at 65, they started their spiritual journey and they were going okay, not great. But when the time of death came near, they also become very alert and aggressive in their spiritual journey. And that's when I realized that it is the last time what it matters, uh, whatever you have done, the hard work throughout your life, that pays off in the last time. You get this kind of peaceful death. You die without any thoughts of anybody in your mind, just to maintain that equanimity. And at that day I realized, okay, oh, see, whatever efforts they were making before that was okay. Not bad and not even great also, I would say. But when the last time came, they picked up. They picked up the speed of their spiritual journey. And they were trying to get fully engrossed in the self. They never worried what is going to happen to these, that, nothing in their mind. And that is the time I realized that, oh, whatever efforts we put in right now is going to come back to us when there is a time of death automatically. So, such a nice journey, spiritual journey, that while doing it, you are still enjoying your life, you are still enjoying eternal bliss. And when the death comes, then also it is a peaceful. And when the transformation happens to the next birth, there the spiritual journey continues. So, whatever efforts we are making in terms of right now are not going to pay us in the present, but it's securing our future also. And ultimately, we are going to get liberated. And then, for infinite time, we are going to enjoy this eternal bliss. We are going to come out of this vicious circle of birth and death, birth and death, and birth and death. And there could not be an appropriate time than this particular our human birth, with access to true God, true scriptures, and true monks, with access to this kind of teachings, preachings, means, and my interest, and that interest getting enhanced every moment, every day. I am improving myself. I don't think there is something very good or better than this in anybody's life. Okay. So be ready, be prepared, and grasp this opportunity with both the hands. Okay. You should always be the first preparation that you need to do for a peaceful death is you have to be in happy space all the time. हर परिस्थिति में प्रसन्न रहना. Okay. हर परिस्थिति, any situation, come favorable situation or unfavorable situation, we have to balance it out with the principles that we have learned over these 5 semesters and also going into the 6th semester. Whatever we are reading is all for our own spiritual journey. These are the tools that we are getting ready for our fight with the Monia karma. Okay. The king of all the karmas is Monia karma. And in Monia karma, Darshan Monia and Charitra Monia, 2 divisions. And Darshan Monia is what we are going to settle in the first place. And of course, then the Charitra Monia will also gradually be eliminated. So, just discussing this, I'm so much enjoying, that we have come to the last phase of our these wanderings. There is not much going ahead. We are soon going to get liberated. Now that soon could be 2 births, 4 births, or maximum 15 births. In terms of time, it could be not more than Adbhat Kal Paravartan. That is the maximum limit given in the Karnal Yuga scriptures. And consider you have been here since time immemorial. There is no beginning. So compared to that, even this Adpudgal Paravartan is a long time. But even that, compared to the time immemorial that we have been wandering in this universe, that is just, I would say, not even 1% of the time. So we are absolutely positioned to get liberated, and there could not be a better feeling than this. Although this has,
Sir,
yeah,
sorry, sir, can I ask a question?
yes, definitely.
Sir, in this one, like, yes, we're talking about Samadhi Maran,
Hmm.
but it somewhere down the line, it creates also a sense of anxiety. Like, is a birth में, like, Jainism में birth मिल गया, and
Okay.
then we had access to scriptures, and then we are listening to this and all.
Hmm.
But then that anxiety, like, okay, now I know I'm not getting liberated in this birth
Hmm.
because, definitely that's not there.
Hmm.
So there's always this anxiety and speculation while the person is, say, like, terminally ill, and they know that someday the day will come,
Yes.
sooner or later. So, sir, usme then that anxiety and that neutral state of feeling doesn't remain, or like that happiness doesn't remain, that, oh, like I'm done with this birth, because now the anxiety of the next birth comes in. That, oh, I have to again be born as a child, I have to go through the same grind, then I have to be an adult, go through the same,
Right.
uh, so that kind of thing, na, sir, that just um, that is one point. The second is that this just makes me feel like, everywhere, not just like if we look at holistic, not just the like from Jainism perspective, everybody says like focus on living, not dying, focus on living a great life. So when we talk about Samadhi Maran, we are we're basically affirming our belief for Maran. Like, it's almost like we are channelizing our all thoughts towards death rather than looking at the life part. So how do you balance between the two? And
Yes.
third is, my dad was his favorite bhajan was Samadhi Maran, last page of Pujan Pat Pradeep.
Yeah.
Every time we went, it was that. But when he actually became terminally ill with cancer,
Uh-huh.
I do know, like, he was quite, not in the last, say, 15 days, I think he knew. He was not fully alert, he was subconscious, like, half the times.
Hmm.
And, but so I don't know if he had already accepted that. But before that, while he was alert, he was in Vedana. Like, he was in so much pain, and he just wanted to become well to stay with the family, but it didn't happen. So then, going from someone who loves Samadhi Maran, Bhavna, full life he sang that bhajan with so much joy in his heart.
Hmm.
And when the time actually came, so to actually transform that
Hmm.
into practicality,
Hmm.
these three things just come to my mind.
Very good question. And since you are in that profession, you have been seeing this since every day, you know.
Yeah,
So
we have something called as allow natural death, sir.
yeah,
So I'm a big proponent of that. Ki don't go very, very aggressive treatment till the very end. Like, see what quality of life matters, what the person wants. So consider religious, spiritual views
right.
rather than just poking them with so many needles and
Yes.
going very, very aggressive surgeries. But I'm just a piece, small, small, tiny, bolte na sir, paida
Uh,
of the whole chessboard.
yeah.
So, but when I think about myself, my wishes,
Right.
we talk about living will and things like that.
Right.
Ki, I don't want aggressive treatment like your mom.
Yeah.
So where does this Samadhi Maran fit in?
So the first thing that I explained, the one who lives the life in a state of equanimity, he is only eligible for Samadhi Maran. So when you live a life of equanimity, when you realize yourself, when you realize that you are the soul and you are not the body, right? So your journey is the spiritual journey that you are living and not the things that are happening to the body. I'll give you an example. Like Swamiji, Swamiji also died because of cancer. And he also, whatever you related about your father, he also more or less had a similar kind of experience in the end. But that is not what you understand from the outer appearance. Inside him, whatever efforts that he has put in that life, that he is carrying forward, he is still there with that effort. So from the outer, we may see that he is in very painful Vedana and all, but internally he is absolutely peaceful. Because now if you have settled darshan mo, then your belief system has changed. Now you believe that you are to be a soul. But having said that, the body turns its own function, right? It's a different entity. Our wish does not work in the body's transformations, right? So what happens, you don't judge somebody with the bodily activities. You have to look at his antarang sadhana that he has been doing the whole life. And irrespective of what is happening at the last moment, still he is in samadhi only. Although he may, you know, cry, although he may be in immense pain at the end, but internally he is very peaceful. Because two different things happening simultaneously. One is the soul's spiritual journey, where there are no disturbances, there are no hindrances, absolute experience of tranquility. That is the spiritual journey of the soul. And the body's function, of course, is independent, right? So we cannot identify somebody with outer actions of body only. We have to look at the spiritual journey that he has already traveled so far. And based on that, someone going into the coma last time, as you said, unconscious, then also his spiritual journey is still continuing. So the journey that we see from outside is not our true journey. And somebody who has studies the scriptures and the way that you have been studying right last 2.5 years, I don't think you will have this kind of experience. Internally, you will be always at peace. I'll just give you an example. 2.5 years ago, okay, you were still living your life. And now, after 2.5 years, you are still living your life. Do you see any difference?
Yeah, just sometimes, not all the time, but
Yeah,
sometimes when the
you could
situations
see the
hit,
difference, right? You could make out the
little, yeah.
difference. In earlier, the same situations, you were feeling jealous, you were feeling anger, you were manifesting pride, deceit, all kinds of passion you can take. And now what's happening? Who says you that don't do this and don't do that? It's automatically not coming out, right? So this spiritual journey that you have traveled for the last 2.5 years, learning these principles, although you may not have absorbed it fully, but somewhere down the line, the soul who is a seeker, he himself picks up the good things, Even if you don't want to pick up from your outer image that we have, the soul who is a seeker, as I just told you about my parents, in the last moment, their efforts become of a very high level. And I was totally surprised how they are manifesting. Because the inner soul, he wants to get liberated. So at that point of time, that inner soul puts in those efforts. And although the outer conditions are not conducive to that kind of behavior, but internally he is on a very high. So it forces the outer situation to change, sometimes. And sometimes it may not change. But internally, you are absolutely on a very good journey. So the two things are very different. You cannot judge a soul's journey through the activities of mind, speech, and body. Never. You don't own those activities in the first place. Those are independent transformations. And that's why sometimes you don't want to scold your daughter. But when the time comes, you automatically scold. Because those things are not under your control. It's happening independently. It doesn't happen according to our wishes, our imagination, our expectation, our desire. No, never. So, two independent journeys. One of the body, which is just like a robot. It has been programmed. And it is the way it is programmed, it is performing its function. And the other part is your pure soul. It is having its own journey. And the journey, there is only one function. You are knowing it and not doing it. It's happening to the body and not to you. So here, with this discrimination, you'll be able to be in peace all the time, irrespective of what is happening in the body, irrespective of you get a terminally ill disease, doesn't matter. Your spiritual journey is independent of all these. Your spiritual journey transcends all these boundaries, So never judge that way. And as I said, I gave you the example of Swamiji, because Swamiji for 45 years, he has been doing lectures on Bhagwan Atma, nothing else. And why he was doing that lecture? Because he was himself enjoying that spiritual journey. So he wanted everyone to be happy that way, to share this spiritual journey. So although in the end time, there were like if you want to do samadhi, you have to train your family members. Just now you were talking about living will. And my son and daughter-in-law were here 1 month ago from UK for 1 month. And I also told them the same thing, that I want to prepare a living will and I want a peaceful death. I don't want to live more, because the soul's journey continues eternally, right? There is no breakage in the soul's journey. So this journey is not my journey. So same sentiments I also echoed with my son and daughter-in-law, that we both. So our family is fully prepared. I am fully prepared. So then things become easy, you know. But if the family members are not aligned with our objective, then they will always try to put you in ICU and to do this and that. And those side effects you told just now, that pricking needles and all, doesn't matter. You are not going to live beyond your age, lifespan that was decided when you took the birth. It cannot be altered anymore. Before taking the birth, it could be altered. Raja Shrenik, when he threw that snake on Yashodhar Muniraj, he bound a lifespan of 33 sagar in the 7th narak. And then later on, when he manifested Shaik Samyak Darshan, because he has already bound that next lifespan, it cannot be changed. But the duration changed from 33 sagar to 84,000, and the intensity, the potentiality changed from 7th narak to 1st narak. But once the birth starts, nobody can change. So anyways, we are going to live our life whatever we have been destined. One thing. Second thing is, there is a rise of karma, sata karma and asata karma. If there is a rise of sata karma, you will never fall ill. And if it is a rise of asata karma, whatever solution you do from outside, nothing is going to work. And that's how people die in hospitals every day. If hospital could have been able to change their destiny or extend their life, they could have gone home getting cured. But it doesn't happen always. Those whose lifespans are still remaining, they get cured. Even during COVID times, I know in the newspaper, the news was there that somebody who was 103-year-old and he survived COVID. In spite of remaining in hospital for 1 month, he still came back home and lived for a longer period of time. How? And young people died in COVID. So it's all depends. Two things are very certain: your lifespan, no changes, and your karmas uday, no changes. Right? Everything else is just an outcome that is getting reflected on your knowledge screen, and you are a knower. Now you tell me, where is the problem? You got your all the answers, whatever questions you had in mind?
Yeah, yeah, sir. Actually,
Yeah.
sir, I mean, I shouldn't say this. एक वो बोलता है ना, an apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. So I felt the same way because for me, I felt like I'm doing Parmagam right now. Say, my dad was also very, very religious, not in the terms of like very just uh, Kriya karna, hai, but overall, he
Right.
was a very good man. I know that. So I just felt like, maybe I'm repeating a pattern. I'm doing whatever he was doing when he was young, my age. And then what if when my time comes, I will also I'll forget about all this. I'll break my vows. Like, some of the medications, for example, they have all sorts of things.
Right.
And
As
it
I said,
just,
if you trained your family members, they will not allow you to break your vows. They will always support you, if they understand religion. But if they don't
hmm,
understand religion, then they will act according to their attachment towards you.
correct,
Because
correct.
whatever they do, they're doing for your welfare. It's not that they want to harm you. But for
No,
them,
that's true,
the
sir.
religious vows and all are not important for them. For them, your surviving is important. So they give you medicines, they get you into ICU, and they do this and that. So same things happen.
So, so that's what I think, like, just to take off that guilt, because, I didn't have Parmagam then. I didn't have,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I wasn't spiritual.
But I'll tell you,
So I
whatever
acted
your
out.
father has done in terms of spiritual understanding, that is carried forward. It's not that it has been destroyed just because he was
Okay.
having a painful death. No, no, no way. Not a single percent he has lost on his spiritual journey. His journey has continued. And we don't know. He
Hmm.
might have got liberated by now.
Hmm.
Because
Oh, okay.
somebody who gets a death here, he
Yeah.
gets a birth in the Mahavidya Kshetra. And
Hmm.
by the age of 9, he manifests omniscience knowledge and then he gets liberated. Could be that much fast. And there are 120, 23, I think, 123 souls who will get liberated in the next birth. And they are right now here. So in the first 21,000 years, not 21,000, 20,000, 21,000 is the time span for this fifth era, right? So in the first 3,000 years, 64 souls will be like that, who will get liberated in the next birth. In the next 3,000 years, there will be 32. And then in the next 3,000 years, it will be 12, 8, 4, 2. And the last 3,000 years, there will be only one soul who will get liberated in the next birth. This is all written in Karnani Yoga, documented. And these scriptures are all coming from sermons of Tirthankars, omniscient, right? So everything is so nicely structured that there is not a reason, iota of reason to worry about anything.
So worry abhi aage aur because if only so many lives are going to get liberated, I mean, how will I make sure that I'm one of them?
So
And
Bade Pandit ji, Ravindra ji, he says that even if it was one soul in 3,000 years, I would be that. You should carry that much of confidence. And the confidence comes with the study of the scriptures. Every day you get up in the morning and first thing you do, you study. This is our spiritual journey. This is our life. While I was doing business, I used to get up 5 o'clock in the morning. And from 5 to 10 was my personal life. Only Swadhyay, Mandir, Abhishek, Pravachan. And after coming home at 10 o'clock, I used to switch on my mobile. And then the whole day it was business, business, business. And not for a single moment I used to remember anything about the soul. But again, the next day, same journey. So we have to put in efforts. And that those efforts only help me to, retire from business. At such a young age, I retired at 44. I could have made in a city like Bombay, where money is the most prominent factor in anybody's life. And you have all kinds of distractions and attractions and all kinds of things are there. But still, when you have purpose in your mind, what you want to do in life, how you want to live this life, then nothing matters. How does it matter if I I live in a 2-bedroom hall kitchen or a 4-bedroom? How does it matter? We are only 2 people in this house right now. So even 1-bed hall was okay. And we have got 2 bed. That's more than enough for us. So you have to feel satisfied in every situation, and that satisfaction comes when you connect to yourself, So our endeavor would be everything, whatever transforms in our life will be only with the help of taking shelter in the soul. And that what we are learning with every principle. Okay. So this is how things will settle down.
Thank you.
I do realize that you have many questions in your mind, but already 2.5 years, you have many things clear in your mind, and another 2.5 years, you will be having a complete understanding where you will be automatically at peace, no questions coming in your mind, no doubts, only that smooth journey, you know. So things will settle down. Don't worry. I do understand where your questions are coming from, and it's very logical also. But then whatever I have answered in terms of logic, you just ponder over it, and maybe you will be able to understand it better. Okay. And this is going to be a gradual process. It's not that you throw a bomb and the things goes away. No, it's not going to be that way. It's going to be a gradual journey, you know, and things will unfold automatically on its own. Anyone else? No problem. So let's continue our journey of Samadhi Maran. When death is accompanied by Samadhi, so this is the condition. When death is accompanied by Samadhi, it is called Samadhi Maran. So Samadhi, and Samadhi is what? Equanimity, passionlessness, dispassionate, detachment, balance, no reaction, absorption in the self, spiritual composer. All these words I explained you in the beginning itself. So don't consider Samadhi Maran as something related to the death. It is something related to the living. It is the art of living that we are living, right? So Samadhi Maran, although it is Maran is mentioned here, but it is not about the death. It is how you live your life. It is how you how you leave your body. It is how you continue your spiritual journey. So very interesting. Okay. So that's why I'm explaining this in so detail, because this is going to help us in many ways to calm down our, uh, distractions and the other attractions that we carry in our mind, all the time. So that is that has also got its own logical reasons. The reasons could be our past impressions, pehle ke sanskar. Ravan and Sita were coming together for the last 10 births. And because of that past sanskar, Ravan kidnapped her. Otherwise, Ravan also was a very moral character, And he made up his mind that I will not touch Sita if she does not agree, if she does not submit to me, and he obeyed that. And he was a very man of principle. But because of past impression, these things happened. So that was the first factor. Then there are rise of karma, the karma that we have bound earlier. So that is also a factor. Then our present efforts, like we are, say, 10 students, but everyone is not putting effort in the same manner. Somebody is putting more, somebody is less, somebody is least interested, some is very much interested. Everyone has a different journey. So your efforts in the present, and then your eligibility of the moment, yogyata, that is also different of each individual souls, right? So all these factors makes a difference. From person to person, it will vary. But having said that, everyone is progressing. Someone is progressing very slow, someone very fast, doesn't matter. But we are all moving into the right direction. That is more important. Because when we were going into the wrong direction, no matter how advanced we go, we have to again come back to the starting point. Now we are moving into the right direction. Maybe slow, no problem. But still, every day we are moving into the right direction. Our confidence is increasing, right? That is the biggest plus point in this spiritual journey. So it is the confidence that matters. Now, I am a soul or a body. Now, what does it matter? You could say that I am a soul, but do you mean it? And if you mean it, how confident you are about it? That makes the difference. So The small event or performance doesn't matter. It is the whole journey, the complete picture that you are living right now that matters. And that has come to you not with some effort, but it's a continuous effort. Okay. So gradually you will move towards your destination. Okay. And I'm very sure that the kind of studies that we are doing, it's not very far. When you also will feel confident, when you will be able to answer all these questions yourself. You don't have to ask it because now you know everything, right? So it's going to happen. Just be patient. It will all unfold automatically. So next page, I'll just scroll it. Regarding this Salekna that takes place at the end of life, Acharya Samanbhadra writes in the Ratnakaran Shravakachar in the chapter titled Salekna, the 6th chapter. Upsarga. Upsarga means cruel torture, afflictions. Upsarge durbikshe jarasi runjaya chani pratikare dharmai tanu vimochan mahu Sallekhna Marya. In the face of unavoidable calamity. Now this unavoidable calamity has to be changed to unavoidable upsarg. It is the word, Hindi word is upsarg. So it will be either unavoidable afflictions or you can write cruel torture. Those who are having a physical book, you can change it. Then famine. Famine is the number 2 point. Famine means durbiksh, akal. The third is old age. And the fourth is illness. In the face of all these 4 factors, okay, when there is no means of remedy, right? Renouncing the body for the sake of preserving righteousness. Now, what is this righteousness? Dharma, vitragta, right? Renouncing the body is not, you're not leaving the body, body is not leaving you, you are leaving the body. That is called winning. Renouncing the body for the sake of preserving righteousness is called Sallekna by the noble ones, by the enlightened ones, by the wise persons. In essence, when such afflictions arise, from here we have to read, and Subhaji, you read from in essence to the next page.
In essence, when such afflictions arise, that death is near and there is no appropriate means of escape. When a famine, scarcity arises, and it becomes impossible to sustain life through pure and ethical means, when old age makes it impossible to live without violating the principle of non-violence, or when an illness occurs that cannot be treated through non-violent means, then in such situations, for the protection of one's righteousness, renouncing the body in a manner prescribed by the scriptures is what noble and wise individuals call samadhi maran or sallekna. If afflictions such as calamities, famine, old age, or severe illness can be countered, then one should first attempt to counter them, undergo treatment, and apply suitable remedies. If, however, no non-violent and harmless means remain available, then one should, in accordance with the procedure prescribed in the Jinagamas, undertake samadhi, the practice of peaceful spiritual absorption at the end of life. It should be noted, just as it is inappropriate not to undertake sallekna in the appropriate circumstances, similarly, it is also inappropriate to undertake sallekna when remedies are still available. In fact, doing so becomes an even graver transgression because it would then fall under the fault of suicide, Atmagata. Now,
Atmaghat, suicide.
Atmaghat. Now, question might arise. But isn't this a form of suicide? And isn't suicide a graver sin than even the killing of other living beings? Salletna or Samadhi Maran is not suicide. Suicide is typically committed in a state of extreme mental disturbance, driven by intense passions, kashayas. In contrast, Sallekna is undertaken after deep reflection, with full awareness and discrimination, while gradually and peacefully weakening the passions and the body. It is only undertaken when no other viable path to live righteously remains. If any treatment within the boundaries of our vows is possible, then there is no entitlement to undertake Sallegna. When death becomes inevitable, and with a deep sense of equanimity, under the guidance of a competent guru, to consciously and formally letting go, renounce a body, this is what called the Samadhi Maran Asalekna. To give up the body here means to remain a detached, knower observer of the natural separation of the body. It does not mean doing something to hasten death. It simply means remaining in calm awareness, in pure witnessing. The body's transformation is bound to happen. It is universal and timeless truth. The essence of Sallekna lies in accepting this truth, and before the body leaves us, we should be prepared to leave it. This is a sensible thing to do. The practical form of this wisdom is
Sallekna or Samadhi Maran.
Samadhi Maran. In the reference verse, the most important word here is irremediable. Need pratikar. This
Means
adjective,
no remedy. Irremediable means no remedy.
no remedy. This adjective must necessarily apply to all four preceding conditions. The essential meaning is this: Sallekna may only be undertaken in situations where a calamity or affliction cannot be removed under any circumstance. A famine occurs in which sustaining life by non-violent means is no longer possible. Such old age arises where all senses have completely deteriorated and life has become entirely dependent and helpless. A life threatening illness strikes for which there is no possible cure. Only under such circumstances is undertaking Sallegna permissible. Should I continue, Ji?
Yes, yes.
If a calamity, famine, old age, or disease does not pose a real threat to life, and if sustaining life is still possible, then it is not appropriate to undertake Sallegna. In such conditions of calamity, etc., appropriate effort should be made to remedy the situation. It is not right to die with equanimity merely for the sake of it. Rather, continuing to live righteously is the proper path because wherever you go after death, you will initially have to live a life without restraint, as samyama. Therefore, it is not advisable to abandon the current human birth, which is a powerful means of practicing self restraint. In this context, Pandit Sadashuk Dasji writes, if one gives up this body, which is a compassion in the pursuit of dharma, by renouncing food, then will vows, penance, and self restraint be accomplished through the unrestrained bodies of celestial beings, hell beings, or subhumans. It is this human body alone that can attain the three jewels, Ratnatraya. If someone abandons his body, which is a vehicle for practicing Dhamma, by giving up food and such, then what purpose is truly accomplished? What goal of ours will be fulfilled by giving up this body? and all that will happen is that one will acquire another new body, one that is devoid of vows and religious discipline. In the statement by Pandit Sadashuddhashri Dasji, there is a firm emphasis on not abandoning food and body before the appropriate circumstances arise. In the Sagara Dharmatma, Dharmamtra,
Dharmamrat.
Dharmamrit, Pandit Asadara writes,
I'm just reading the Hindi one. Okay. Na dharma sadhana na dharma sadhan miti sthan sthasnu nashyam vapur buddhe na chekenapi no rakshamiti sotyam vinashwaram. Continue.
the body, being a means to pursue righteousness, should not be destroyed by the wise. Yet, if the body is perishing, then it is not something to grieve over, for no one can save a dying person. In the above statement by Asadara ji, there is a clear instruction not to destroy the body. At the same time, he also states that if body is perishing on its own, one should not grieve. Merely emaciating the body does not constitute salekna. Rather, it is essential to weaken the passions, kashayas, along with the body. As Acharya Pujyapada states, Samyak Kaya Kashaya Lekana Sallekana. True Sallekna is the proper weakening of both the body and the passions. In Sagara Dharmata, Dharmamrita,
Dharmamrat. Pandit Asadarji also
Dharmamrita,
writes,
Pandit
Upvasadibhiha kayam kashayam cha srutamrute सलिंख्य गण मध्ये स्यात् समाधि मरणो उद्यमी.
the aspirant striving for samadhi maran, death in equanimity, should in a right manner weaken the body through fasting and similar practices and weaken the passions kashayas through the nectar of scriptural knowledge Shuddha Gyan. Having done so, he should present himself in the midst of the fourfold congregation, Sangh, monks, nuns, laymen, and laywomen. That is, he should go to where the fourfold congregation is present. In the referenced verse, fasting and similar practices are described as means to weaken the body, and study of the scriptures is shown as a means to weaken the passions. Additionally, the verse advises staying in the company of the fourfold congregation, Chaturvida Sangh, monks, nuns, laymen, and laywomen. From this, it becomes evident that these instructions primarily apply to householders, Shravakas, who observe vows not just to ascetics.
जन्म मृत्यु जरान अंतंका कायस्येव न जातु में न च कोपि भवतेष्य ममेत्य रेंगस्तु निर्मम.
Birth, death, old age, and disease belong to the body, not to me, the soul. Therefore, I should remain free of attachment towards this body.
पिंडो जात्यापि नाम्नापि समो युक्तापि योजितः पिंडोस्ति स्वार्थ नाशार्थो यदा तम हाप्येतद्दा.
The word pinda refers to both the body and food. Though they are identical in name and nature, it is surprising that the same food which once nourished the body now harms it. Hence, when food begins to harm, rather than support the body, it should be renounced. These statements make it clear that when food no longer nourishes but instead deteriorates the body, it must be given up. Let it be carefully understood that the point here is not to abandon food arbitrarily, but only when it begins to harm the body instead of supporting it. Even in the major scriptures, Tattva Sutra, Acharya Umaswamy primarily addresses vowed householders, Anuvrat, Dari, Shravakas, and secondarily other aspiring seekers. He advises
Stop. Stop. So page 10, we are stopping. So to summarize the discussion, it was all very clear. Hope everyone would have understood.
Yes, please.
So there is a difference between a suicide and a samadhi maran. Suicide is undertaken when you are under immense mental disturbance. You're not able to cope up with the problems that you have. And so you decide to end your life. That's altogether different. But here in Samadhi Maran, you are gradually crushing the passions and the body. Gradually, right? So the procedure will come going forward. But the thing is that there is a difference between Atma Ghat and this Samadhi Maran that you should understand. First of all, if there is a remedy possible, you should do. Okay? It's not that you give up now, I don't want to live. No, it's not like that. It's like enjoying the death, you know. You have done enough in this life. Now there is no regret to leave this body because you have already left the body from your belief system very early. Now just only the procedure is being done, right? You buy a property, you make the payment and then you go for registration. So that registration is not buying the property. You've already bought the property. That's just a formality. So leaving the body is just a formality for those people who have lived this life in equanimity, in spiritual bliss, in happiness, right? So they automatically have this kind of peaceful death. So if the remedy is available, you should do it. When there is no way that you can be better, then only it is advisable to get into this kind of peaceful death. Okay. The four factors that were explained, the first one was unavoidable calamity. So everywhere it is written as calamity, but usually speaking, the parisha, parisha and upsarg, two different words. Here the word upsarg is used. So upsarg is done by man, man or animals or somebody, it's done by somebody. So it's basically a cruel torture. Cruel torture. Okay. So you could replace the word cruel torture wherever you find this unavoidable calamity or calamity. Famine is okay, durbhiksh, no problem. Old age is okay, and illness is okay. Okay. So the procedure should be followed, that if there is a way out, then you should do that remedy. And when it seems that nothing is improving, and then at that point of time, you can very well renounce all the kind of foods. Then they come into the liquid, and then in the liquid also they have only butter, milk and all. And then gradually they leave that also and they get into water mode, only having water. And then gradually, peacefully, they leave the body. So that process will come going forward. But right now I just explained in short that it is not something that you are in some sort of distress and leaving the body. No, you are in depression, you're leaving the body, you are thinking that nothing is working. No, two things separate. Soul is different and body is different. Body's transformation is not my transformation. This is very well established in the mind of the person who is doing this kind of samadhi maran. And based on that only he is doing this samadhi maran. Okay. So there is a difference between suicide and samadhi maran. Samadhi maran, you are always enjoying the whole journey. Okay. The body, why you should not waste this body? Because here in this life you are able to practice restraint. You can do sanyam here. But if you leave this body and you go to other three states, hell, there is no sanyam. Heaven, there is no sanyam. in subhuman state, there is no Sanyam. So then you should not leave this body just to get over this hardships or sorrow that you are suffering from. No, not that way, right? Just you have to gradually reduce the passions and leave the body like that. Okay. So it's a whole procedure. It's something mental transformation that you get uh, before acting in such a manner, right? So all this, and then you can have this samadhi when there is no way that body could be sustained with ethical means. Yeah, even they don't do any solution of unethical means. Like abhaksha, bhakshan, they never eat. They will never have medicines. Those who want to do samadhi, they will never have medicines. Because in medicines, you don't know what components they are putting in it. All your life you have observed such woes, and in the end, so such things doesn't generally happen when all the families are aligned to the same philosophy, right? It only happens when there is a mismatch. And that's why it's always advisable to live in an ashram where like-minded peoples are there. They will take care of your samadhi, and those who are not trained to do this, they will never be able to do that. So this is all the discussions. In the beginning itself, I asked which anuyog, which exposition we are doing it. From which exposition all these statements are being made. And the answer was Charnan Yoga. So all these have been being said from the Charnan Yoga, and you have to take it in the right sense. You cannot say the soul doesn't die. That statement is from Dravyan Yoga, and we are talking from the Charnan Yoga. So the statements will go like this only. There is nothing wrong in it. You have to understand it in the right perspective. Okay. Charnan Yoga, I feel, is absolutely nectar, because you are directly implementing the ideas, right? So you have to understand this in the right sense. So very good discussion, and the extra discussions also was very good, very interesting. And we will continue this tomorrow from page 11 onwards. Now, if you find time, you can take out a printout. If you are not taking a printout, you want to read from the laptop or the tab, you can still do that, but read and come. These all are very simple things. I need not explain you at all. It's all self-explanatory. But having said that, we will be reading each and every line, and whatever has to be highlighted, I will definitely do it. Usually this is a self-study book. We never teach only, but this is so interesting a topic that I thought that let's do it in a nice way. So maybe we will take 4 classes, and we don't mind because we have enough time in this SEM. Okay. The next 2 subjects are very small, Gunasthan and Nai Chakra guide. So all of you must have received books, right? Or you haven't ordered?
Yeah. No, we've received it, sir.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
came. Yeah.
You should read. Maybe you may have received the Hindi version, but never
Yeah.
mind. Those who know Hindi, you can read Hindi also. And English, already I've shared the PDF. You can take a printout. And it would be nice if you compare Hindi and English simultaneously, so you'll understand better. Okay. If you know the Hindi. But if you don't know Hindi, then it doesn't matter to you. You are very good with English only. So, Jinpriya ji, you had this question, and I told you to apply for exposition. If you want to discuss, we'll stop after the Mangla, after the Stuti, and then we can discuss that if you want. Okay. So let's first do the Stuti. निज निधि निज में बताई, यह अनंत उपकार है, उसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना सत बार है, उसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना 7 बार है। 9 times नमोकार मंत्र